We've been staying on top of the state of policing in Seattle amid the preparations for this summer's FIFA World Cup, the city's response to ICE, and the fight over surveillance cameras. Today, we're joined by Seattle Police Chief Shon Barnes here in the studio. Chief, thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you for the opportunity.
We appreciate having you here. First, we want to hear from you following this shooting that just happened over the weekend in Pioneer Square. The Pioneer Square Alliance is calling for more safety improvements, and one of the things they're asking for is an increased, consistent police presence in the area overnight. Is that something that you can or will make happen?
Yeah, I think that's something that we're already working on. The officers were immediate to the area, which I believe contributed to this not being a homicide. The officers were there within seconds and were able to give life-saving measures to the person who was shot. And so we're there. You know, obviously we can't predict when and where crime will occur, but our officers are doing a really good job, and our commanders with our deployment strategies. We're aware of where the problems are and when they're going to be, and so our officers were certainly in the right place at the right time. It's just unfortunate that this happened.
All right. Another story that we've been following closely. Last week we heard from Seattle Police Guild President Kent Liu about the role that your officers have when it comes to the city's ICE policy. City policy bans officers from cooperating with ICE. Liu says that some cooperation is actually needed, though, to keep the public safe if there are demonstrations against ICE. So how do you, as chief, expect your officers to handle any potential conflicts that come up between demonstrators and ICE?
Yeah, the same way we handle all demonstrations. Our city is no stranger to handling protests. I think we're probably one of the best in the country to have it. You know, we don't take sides in any protests, and so people are allowed to demonstrate their First Amendment rights. However, when it comes to violence and things of that nature, we will certainly intercede. You know, our policy really aligns with not only the city, but state law as well. We don't cooperate with immigration enforcement, and we've never done that. And so the policy is consistent with the law, and we're going to continue to follow that policy.
Can you tell me more about how you're monitoring and documenting any ICE activity happening in the city?
The same way we would any call. If an officer gets a call, whether someone thinks that they may be encountered by ICE or some other law enforcement agency that is unidentified, our officers will respond, they'll verify, they will have their body-worn cameras on the same way they do any other time we go to a call for service, and they're required to write a report and document what happened, just in case someone questions whether or not we actually cooperated or did not assist a community member.
All right. Let's talk about surveillance cameras in the city,
Sure.
because the mayor has paused the expansion of the city's surveillance camera system. They are turned off right now. We know that more cameras are being installed in SoDo, but also not being turned on. Your department has repeatedly shared with us how you feel that the cameras help solve crimes, that they're an important tool for response as well. So does having those cameras in place but turned off hamper the ability to protect the public?
Well, I think that the mayor was very clear that the cameras could be turned on in the SoDo Stadium District if there is a credible threat. And so the FIFA event is a Tier 2 event, which means that there is heightened security around all of those events that are going on throughout the country. And so I'm working on preparing, obviously, a brief with some of our partners, with the FBI and others, to share whether or not we have credible threats. But this is what I do know. Last year, the cameras helped assist in 17 homicide investigations and helped to clear 11 of those. And more information is always better than less information. It helps us to pinpoint the person or persons we're looking for. It prevents us from having to interact with people who had nothing to do with it, and it allows us to be better precision police officers when it comes to keeping everyone safe.
Who will determine if something is a credible threat? Is that you, or is that a team of people?
I will bring the case to the mayor's office, and the mayor's office will determine whether or not my information is a credible threat. But I will do that, obviously, based on the information that we have, which is ever evolving. I mean, we're living really in a country now where we have to take all threats of violence seriously, and we have to investigate those to determine if it's something that's going to actually happen or it's something that is misinterpreted. And we do that almost every single day. We're going to continue to do that.
You mentioned the cameras in SoDo, and of course the FIFA World Cup is coming. Hundreds of thousands of people will be here for that. Share a little bit with us, if you could, about SPD's plan to keep the public and the people coming into town for the games safe?
Absolutely. We will have a full complement of officers and assist officers from other agencies. We'll have a robust traffic plan. We're going to communicate that plan to people before, during, and even after the games. We want people to have an enjoyable and safe experience. You'll see officers on bikes and on foot patrol, which is something that people have been asking for, and we really hope and believe to be consistent with that presence throughout the entire month.
Do you have a number one concern about FIFA? I mean, is it that traffic or is it safety?
It's a lot. Number one, I think is safety. I want people to not only be safe, but feel safe. I want them to enjoy Seattle. We have an amazing city, and I'm so happy and proud that our department and the dedicated members of the Seattle Police Department get to be a part of history, and we're going to do that well.
Hopefully it'll be nothing but a really fun event for everybody.
I think so.
Mayor Katie Wilson announced early in her tenure that she was keeping you on as chief, but her approach to public safety does differ from her predecessor, Mayor Harrell, who's the one who hired you. Could you share how your relationship is with Mayor Wilson, and do you get the support you need from City Hall?
Yeah, I think I do get the support that I need because public safety is nonpartisan. It doesn't matter who sit in that seat. They must know that the number one charter in the city of Seattle is public safety. It's the only thing that's really written down. That's their responsibility. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of that. I'm going to continue in my role. I'm going to continue to be who I am, and that's someone that really values community, someone that really takes public safety very seriously. I believe in partnerships. I believe in the whole of government approach. I believe that police, we are at the forefront of public safety, but it's not just on us. It's incumbent of everyone to work together to actually bring the type of city that we want to Seattle, and that's what I'm committed to doing.
All right. Chief Shon Barnes, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate having you here today.